Hey guys, and welcome to the Expansive Journey. My name is Julie, and today I'm going to speak about how we change when we wake up from going about life in a very fear-driven way to change into living from a place of love. And the fear-driven way of living is rooted in the separation consciousness, separation from who we really are, and in the illusion and the ignorance creates the illusion that we are a separate person on a timeline, and we are going to die someday. And until that, we're going to try to struggle and hustle and try to make a living in this world. And it's a way of living that is very driven by our primary instincts for survival, which is more competitive, and it's more is driven more by this lower instincts, which is not in alignment with oneness and unity. And this fear-driven way of living it sort of takes its we can see it in every aspect of life. So in our career, we, for example, can see that we might work hard to get validation and approval from others, or we might struggle really hard to fit in and try to sort of be validated and have a belonging, right? We seek that unity and that oneness in belonging with other people, which is ultimately what makes us abandon our true self. So we abandon ourselves to make other people approve of us, right? And this is how we seek a unity in the illusion, in the illusory consciousness. And we also see this in relationships when we are sort of having fear-driven relationships. That's when we people please, and we constantly abandon ourselves and our own needs to please other people, right? So it's more like a mind game. It's almost like a social game that we play, that we get so used to when we grow up that some people maybe never question it. I questioned it a lot growing up, and I still do. And it's that feeling that this is not ultimately the sense of unconditional love that I have touched upon and that I can remember or recognize from a deep place within me. So it's more like a mind game. It's more like a social dynamic that is about codependency and stuff like that. So it's conditional love. It's, I love you if you do like that. I love you if you are the way I want you to be, right? And then we abandon ourselves and we try to fit in. And there's very little sovereign independency in those kinds of relationships. Same with career, same with how we fit into society, same with how we treat our bodies. We're healthy because we want to look good, right? Because we don't, if you are healthy, to use my own body as an example, I struggled with eating disorder when I was younger, and that was all about intrinsic dislike of my body. And when I started to love my body, I was of course taking care of it, but it wasn't coming from a place of fear and anger and sort of like separation from my body. I felt love for my body. So I started to really heal when I integrated, and I was on the same team as my body instead of trying to control it and manage it and make it a certain way. So that's when I changed my relationship with my body from fear-driven to love-driven. And that's how we are moving when we are having an awakening. And this is also what I believe that we are moving into, since more and more people are experiencing this on a global level, we will move into a time where more and more of us on the collective level as well will change the different aspects of life, the different categories, if you want to call it that. We will change those into move from fear-driven to love-driven. So the love-driven way of living is rooted in truth and authenticity, is realness. There's no faking, there's no playing, there's no gaming to make a certain egoic, with a certain egoic agenda. It's not to survive or to defend or prove. it comes from truth. And sometimes the truth is not what we want it to be, right? Or what it's comfortable, but it's real. And it comes from a place of love, because it is truth, right? Love for truth. So when we feel grief, it's not comfortable, but it's truthful to embrace that and to express that when we feel it, right? And this will move into different, that was an example, but we can say that into different areas of life as well. So in career, that will look like from like hustle culture to trying to seek for validation and approval, trying to make a living, to have a safe life, because safety is an illusion, because eventually we are all really helpless, because we are actually being guided and governed by a much higher intelligence that we are not in control of, right? Even though the mind likes to have control, it is also fear-driven intrinsically. So in the career, that will, for example, look like passion, service to others, creation, like a creative expression, intelligent expression. Instead of this me, what I need, it's more like, how can I create, right? How can I align with infinite intelligence and put into this world whatever source wants to create through me, right? Same with relationships. It will be much more sovereign. Love comes from the inside, and it's something that we share on a sovereign basis. And it's not like you need to give me what I need. It's more like I have that and you have that, and we share it. It comes from a much higher place, and you can feel it in the way it's actually empowering and makes you, it supports you in being truthful to yourself, instead of requiring of you to sacrifice yourself and becoming something you're not to get approval. And this is how we move into emotional sovereignty, because all emotions you have ever felt are on the inside. And when we realize that, we can start to really become comfortable with painful emotions, and then realize that, oh, my emotions come from the inside. So when I can feel good emotions on the inside, my internal reality will be reflected on the outside, right? So that's how beliefs and emotions and minds and mindset sort of like reflects on the outside. So we are ultimately, we are one timeless, eternal being, all of us, expressing itself in different forms across all time that we perceive as time, across all space, what we perceive as space, for eternity. And as we start to realize this one truth, we will not have anything to worry about anymore, because everything is ultimately one, right? We are safe to our core. And that's how we transcend fear. That's also how we can stop buying into that separation consciousness, that illusory sense of self, which is creating this fear-driven way of living. That's what I wanted to share with you today. And as always, like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if it resonates. And always leave me a comment below if you resonate with this new way of living. If you are going through a transformation that is taking you from a very fear-driven, survival-driven way of living into a more love and truthful way of living. And we can see this on the planet today also with how the young generation is approaching life, especially career, compared to how the older generation have been approaching career. And this is also like this expansion of consciousness is also reflected in the technology that is actually supporting our creative expansion and our human individual expression, right? So the technology that facilitates me making videos or you selling art or making music and sell online. It has never been easier to be a human in some way in terms of technology. And that is supported or in alignment with increased consciousness or more consciousness on the planet right now. So as always, if you want to have a call with me, then book a free clarity call in the link in the bio. And you can also watch my free masterclass,
which is an introduction video to my program, Awaken You. And there we will go deeper into the topic of attention. And until next time, much love and namaste.